Says it's 8:30. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, and I'll open with a prayer and we'll stand for the pledge. Lord, good morning, and it is a good morning. We're so grateful for the rain that you gave us overnight, and what we just heard is maybe there's some areas that were impacted in a negative way, Lord. So be with those communities. For us here, we just blessed to have the rain that we had, and we're grateful for that. Lord, as we take up our business this morning, it oftentimes just seems mundane, and as a result, Lord, perhaps it conveys a different message to some, but even in the most mundane work that we take up, it serves the citizens of Laclede County, and we just ask for your that you'd guide us through the process and always rely on your wisdom and guidance, and not on ourselves. Lord, be with those who give us protect us, Lord, through the men and women in the military. Be with those who serve our community. We're just, again, so blessed to have so many coworkers who have the best interests of Laclede County at heart. Lord, we thank you and we love you. In your Son's name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have minutes presented for May 12th.
Motion to approve the minutes for May 12th is written.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for May 12th as written. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Next item then, last week we opened bids to resurface, if you will, or redo the floors in the jail. And we've asked Mike to evaluate those and come back with his recommendation. We had three bids. I'll just set this up, Mike, and then I'll let you have the floor, and I think we're gonna have some questions for you. So we had one bid from a company called Pro Finish for the scope of the work that was in the legal notice. It was their bid was $150,000. We had another bid from a company called Morris Concrete Surfacing. Their bid for the same scope of work, $96,967, and then we had another bid from K&C Services, and the same scope of work, $85,490.25. So with that, Mike, I'd like to turn the floor over to you, and then share with us what you'd want us to know, and then I know I have some questions. So.
Okay. The big difference between the two companies, other than the price, one's local, one's out of Oklahoma. The one out of Oklahoma, they're a little faster. They dry grind, so it's a little dustier and dirtier.
So I'm going to assume that the $150,000, the high bid, is not going to be part of your recommendation. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
They got 4 schools in front of them, so the Oklahoma guys might be a couple months, maybe up to September before they could start anything. We have an example of their work over at the Sheriff's Department now. They're the ones that did the floor over there, so we can see what the floors look like compared to theirs. Okay. The local company, they wet grind, so they're slightly slower. They're, well, double time, basically. They want to give themselves 4 days per cell to get in there and grind them. I did get a hold of that superintendent that was a reference for him, and he said that the Morris work was by far the best he ever had. Matter of fact, he's had 3 companies in there grinding the school over the years. He's the only one who's ever called back. So he said his quality of work was way better than the other companies that he you know, it's just a torn between, you know, do we wanna go local or do we want to, you know, save, you know, some money? I'm good with either company, cause you know, but I do believe the local guy would do slightly better. But we're talking jail, you know, we're not talking a 5-star hotel, you know. So, I'm good with whoever we go with. But I'm just torn between using local and using out of state.
How many days did you say? I didn't get that down on the Oklahoma.
Okay, the Oklahoma people, 2 days per cell.
2 days.
Right, they dry clean, they dry grind, so, they don't have as much of the slurry that needs to be cleaned up. The slurry is what's gonna take the extra time cleaning up. It makes a better grind, a cleaner grind, and, it doesn't make so much dust, but it does. You do gotta clean up the slurry afterwards. The slurry afterwards is as they grind it up, it's treated, so that slurry can just be dumped. Any dirt road, any driveway, it's legal to dump it on any farm or whatever, so, we're not dealing with any, potential contaminated. With the dry one, that's not being treated as they grind. So it's still, slightly hazardous, you know, you make sure you're masked up or, you know, before you go in, where to work in there. So, like I said, it's a time frame thing. It's gonna take twice as long with the wet, as it will with the dry. The dry guys will be in there and out a lot quicker. So,
When did you say that you said, I guess Morris Concrete
Morris
would be able to start?
probably
did you-
within 30 days.
Okay. End of June?
And I'm not so worried about the start date. We have survived this long, so a couple more months ain't gonna kill us.
Sure.
You know.
You just stated that September probably start for the other one, so I just want to
Probably
see a start date for this
The other
one
one's
too.
got 4 schools in front of it. They're just about to start.
And you said one of them will require us to supply the
The
dumpster.
Oklahoma company, we've got to supply the dumpster. And I don't think it'll be over 3,000. I'm thinking 2 to 3 dumpsters, and whatever the weight accordingly, that they charge.
So you estimated a $3,000 add on to that?
I'm estimating that, yes.
That is potentially some fairly heavy product going in that dumpster.
So that would bring to 88.5 then. Three difference.
Yeah, so Mike, I have a couple of questions,
Yes,
and maybe more.
Difference now.
that's all right.
What's the difference?
So I know that in speaking with with the sheriff's office, a comment was made regarding the time it would take that would interrupt the relocation of those who
Correct.
are jailed here, right? So have you addressed that with the jail captain, or?
They prefer the smaller amount of time compared to the longer time, simply because once you start mixing certain prisoners, the tensions start to rise quicker. So that is definitely an issue, because I believe our plan is to try to keep them all in-house instead of sending them out for 2 or 3 days. So.
we did have to have the prisoners boarded, we know that's gonna cost us probably $45 per day per inmate. And so that could add up quickly.
It could add up.
It could add up quickly, okay? And be an extra burden on resources, just transporting back and forth. So that would be the company from the KNC out of Oklahoma, okay? All right, so my next question then, and really it's just open for discussion, so it's a question, but it's open for discussion. So when this was bid out, you had asked for not only the pods and some of that area outside the pods, but you'd also asked for the nurses' office,
floor.
hallway, bathroom, elevator, sheriff's office, not his office specifically,
Right,
but
2 areas.
the hallway, break room, and intake. So the scope of the work that we received a bid on kind of somewhat indicates maybe what the overall need or would be, but
It
when
was
we
need and want to cover everything that we might end up doing over there with that particular time.
okay, so but initially we were going to do the cells,
The
the
cells
actual
and
the pods
Yes.
and the intake. Okay, so then we have an alternate from this company that was their total was $85,490. They did provide an estimate on for a portion of this, which is the sheriff's office, break room, intake, hallway, and that's $18,533. So it's my understanding if we didn't do that,
Right.
then we could deduct that from the $85,000. Okay, and then there was another for the nurse, hall, bathroom, and elevator. That was $6,000. So potentially we could reduce this from 85,000 to roughly 60,000. Correct? Okay, so what I'd like to put out here for discussion is, because initially the agreement that we have as a commission with the sheriff's office, it was going to be a 50-50 split. We had some funds that we could allocate, and they had some funds that they could match. So in discussing yesterday with the sheriff's office, they would be willing to do the lesser portion as opposed to the all of the above, okay? And that's based upon the funds they have available, okay? So if we had the 60,000 and we added roughly 3,000 for those miscellaneous charges, if you will, I'd indicated to them that's probably a $32,000-$33,000 split for them and for us, okay? But then Mike and I talked yesterday, and we said, okay, we look at some of the other areas, and we have over the course of probably the last year and a half or 2 years, when we moved the 911 into the current center, that area has been repurposed, I think, in just a very functional way that's serving our sheriff's department well. Okay, it's just that they have more desk space. It just flows really, really good. So I'm going to put out there that we maybe still consider this, consider the whole, if maintenance has it in their budget to pick up what would be potentially that $25,000. So that's kind of for discussion. I haven't talked over that with Mike until right now, because I haven't looked at his budget. I know that we have a lot of things that we have to take care of around here, and I don't know how the year seems like it's going pretty good at this point, but we have the unknown. So that's the question I'm putting out to Mike, and then ultimately we need to decide so we can get the schedule. So Mike, I'm gonna put that on you, and or I can put it back to our budget officer and just see if there's that $25,000 in there somewhere, that if we had set aside anything for miscellaneous or unknowns that we could use. And so I'm just putting it all on the table. Is this a good time to get all of that work done, or do we get done what we know we intended to do, and then in some future year? And if you want to take a walkthrough down there, I did yesterday, and I think there's some justification for doing all of it, but that's just my thoughts, and I can be okay either way. So it really comes down to me if that extra 25,000 is available somewhere.
The one thing about this is once these floors are done, they're pretty well done. You know, in the next 30 years, if you might have to buff clean on one or so, depending on how dirty they get, but they hold up very well. You don't have tile, you don't have grout, you don't have glue that breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're done, they're done.
It's a one surface instead of a put together surface, which helps that situation.
Yes, it helps tremendously. Why the big companies like Walmart and all that have done away with their tiles and gone to the polished concrete.
What about so you just spoke to ongoing maintenance. So I know right now in those hallways where they are high traffic areas, are there any figures or dollar amounts that you can say, okay, this is costing us so much per month to keep these hallways mocked? So would there be any reduction?
No, not there, because we still sweep and mop. We still sweep and mop the floors as they need them there. We don't use any product other than just water on the polished concrete.
So no additional maintenance cost. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, it's pretty flat when it comes to that, you know. We can pick and choose some areas that don't need to be done. You know, like we had a couple little bathrooms in there, and we're still going to have some of that tile left over in the lobby area over there that we did not include.
And that lobby area is the
Sheriff's Department lobby area where we meet up to the ramp for the new 911, and the little hallway there that goes from the bailiff's desk, or not the bailiff's desk, the jailer's window, and then that new door we put in there to the door to the enter the sheriff's department there. Offices.
But there's considerably less traffic there than there is the sheriff's hallway, where
The sheriff's hallway is, you know, pretty well traveled.
and then the intake area where we have
The
a
intake
lot
area,
of even not machinery, but maybe different types of lunch carts,
right.
laundry, all of that.
Right, the laundry room, somebody in the past has coated it with something, so it's in good shape. We won't touch it.
But this is the hallway
But
outside.
the
of
hallway
it.
outside, down to the dock, and the intake area, which, if we remove a carpet or two in there, you can see that it's break room over there, the tiles are completely shot, you know, we can't scrub them clean. So we had thrown that in there just because they just look dirty and you can't change it. You know, you pull them tiles up, put something new down on it, or you polish it and clean. One other area I wanted to have done was the dry area in the kitchen. The health department mentions that floor because it's been painted at one time, and you can't keep paint on a concrete floor in a high traffic area. It's just not-
So both of these bids include that, correct?
They included those areas,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So let me ask you a question, Linda, and I should know this answer, but I don't, so it's best to ask. If we had new funds available, we could budget those, right? At that time, okay. Would the interest on our one CD, and I don't even know what that amount would be, but it would help. Would that be considered new funds? No, I didn't think so. It's worth asking, it's worth a try.
Well,
The answer still yes.
We can come up with 25,000. Okay, then I have one last question, Mike, and I'll then just see if I have any direction here. But so we do have a lot of electronics down there, and we do know that the dust can, you know, find its way into some very
dust will find
tiny
its-
places. So based upon the previous work that was done, did you have any fallout? And I use that word. Did you have any fallout
no,
from
we
dust?
didn't, but we removed everything out of the area. We had took in all the desks and computers, everything out of there, and had it pretty well covered up. We covered everything up, and they finished that in one day. That area that we had there, they did finish that in one day. I'm thinking it's gonna take them at least 2 days per cell, maybe 3, because, you know, the Oklahoma guys, they were just here that one time, but the guy that does the bid has never been in the facility. He's just going off the blueprints of what we got there, you know, where the local guys have actually walked through, hand measured, and looked at what they're dealing with, you know, face to face. So, but the guys in Oklahoma, they're pretty sure they can be in there and out pretty quick.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to have to consider the bid price. We're going to have to consider wet or dry, and we're going to have to consider the time to relocate, potentially relocate.
And I'll have to get power over there, at least 240 up to the upstairs up there. The local guys use propane driven and 1 pan. So there's that difference. They bring their machines up, they run like gas motor propane, so you don't have to exhaust it. The other concern with the dry, that much of it, RTU2 is the one that cools a lot of those, plus all those heat pumps do the individual cells up there, and that's a lot of dust to be.
And we've got the control tower up there, and then we have the down at the lower level as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think I know what I have heard, and
And this dust
So-
becomes, once it's wet, it becomes pretty well rock solid, you know. So, and I don't believe they would be able to get in there and do it without the air running. I mean, they might, but it gets pretty stuffy and pretty hot in there.
And this is in the cell
In the
areas.
cell areas, right. They're, in the cells themselves, they are controlled by the heat pumps up there, the flood heat pumps. The general whole areas controlled by RTU2 up there. So that whole air conditioning area up there would have to be managed really closely while we do those.
Do the dry.
To do the dry.
Okay.
To do the
Okay. So if the wet sanding is an option, then my search for 25,000 goes to 35,000. Okay. We have budget approval. So, gentlemen, do you have any other questions?
No, this is not an easy decision. You've got me concerned about the dust now.
And it's a lot of dust.
And the difference between those two bids, if we go back to number, is really probably about 8,000 then, because we have to provide the containers to have the
Yes.
the tile removed if we do the dry. Okay. So,
And then the possibility of the expense of housing.
Outsourcing.
Housing.
We don't know what that is until we get a number of,
And even
Or
if you
roommates, I
turn
guess.
off the air in one of the cells, that doesn't
So-
still blow.
oh, it's still gonna get through there. I mean, you'd have to filter up before, after, and in the middle there somewhere at all, because it will. I mean,
Just go everywhere.
go to the beach and sit down, you're gonna have it in places you don't need it, you know. Same difference.
let me just, I want to verify something with the jail. Bridget, so we're discussing the floors this morning, okay? So is Jack there? Okay, he is not, okay.
25 to
I
35,
think
you
the
Yeah.
one question that we would like to hear directly from jail would be the interruption or the time that it would take if we went one way versus the other. Is that going to be a huge factor, do you think, or is that something we can work around? Okay. Okay. When will Jack be in, do you think? Okay. Okay. Why don't you call me back when Jack gets there, and we'll just hold off here for a few minutes and take up a couple. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Bye. I think that's the last thing I would like to weigh in on, just if there is any thought as to what that time might look like. So, Mike, with that, if you want to hang around here for a few minutes, or I can call you back in when they get here. But I think what we're wanting to hear, what I'm wanting to hear, is just if it's 4 days dislocated versus 2 or whatever.
He's thinking maybe 3.
Maybe even 3 on that 2-day deal, so maybe looking about the same time frames, 3 or 4 days.
There's a lot of stuff to go around in there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. The local
And that's because of their equipment?
That's just so we can get underneath the beds.
Okay, and the other company, they could
They
get,
haven't been here in person.
Okay.
To say, hey, we need to remove.
I've got to imagine they're gonna have to remove them as well.
so that
I would
might,
think
that might
because of the
impact
equipment
their
type,
their
looking all the
bid,
way.
you know, is it possible they would get here and they'd say, okay, or is that something that's gonna be on us?
They have done jails before, so I'm presuming they
Good point, okay,
have done this
Okay.
a time or two.
Right.
So, I'm sure that they have presumed that some of that will have to be removed. If not, then
Okay.
maintenance will remove it and let them grind and we'll put it back. So,
okay,
there's 50, probably 50 to 60 beds over there, which, you know, most of them are double, so we're looking at about 28 bunk beds, metal frames that are bolted in over there, so.
okay. Okay, so let's hit the pause button here for
Yeah.
a few minutes and then we'll,
I can, sneak on out.
okay, and then
call
I'll
me.
call you as soon as jail gets up here.
Technician should.
All right, we're in, general county business, and I am gonna ask for to go into closed session for personnel reasons once we get through, general county business here. So, but I think what I'm gonna do first, public comments, items listed on the agenda, none. Okay, let's go ahead and, can we knock out routine business while we're waiting? And then I'll go to, depending on when everybody comes in, I'll go to public comments, items not listed on the agenda. Everybody get a chance to see the accounts payable?
Yep.
Yes.
And for those who've never been here before, the papers we're approving this morning from the other office holders, routine business, property add-ons, property abatements, payroll change forms. Both of these, Linda?
Yes, that's an add-on, that one's an abatement. These
Okay,
guys
I
go
got you,
together.
okay. I got you. Yeah, those are copies. I don't know, Mike may have the original, but these are copies.
I think that's right.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think that is correct, yeah, because we've got a copy of all this on top of it. I think we kept the copies, yeah.
Okay, that finishes the routine business, so I'll go back to, actually I'll take up public comments, items not listed on the agenda. If you'd state your name for Linda, we need that for the minutes.
Yes. Jim Lewis, Lewis, 16300 State Highway KK, Lebanon. I'm here speaking on my own behalf today. Although I am a board member of the Route 66, the Lebanon-Laclede County Route 66, and the Missouri State Association of Route 66. I'm also Friends of the Library. I go to the Conway Senior Center. I'm speaking on my own behalf. After the last board meeting, and I've been attending board meetings for about 2 years, I'm talking about the Lebanon-Laclede County Library Board. The last meeting was very adversarial. I thought between the library and the Route 66 Association, of which Bruce Owen was the one that was speaking. During the public comment portion, it became almost a battle, and that was very surprising. It doesn't seem to be, but to me it was. Years ago, at least 2 years, I don't know the exact date, but I've seen the memo, and they call it a memo of understanding, but it's really more of a wish list of items that they would like to see the library museum accomplish, such as dusting the car, fixing the flat tires. That went on for at least a year with no action. And after that, we actually gained approval, and I dusted the car, and we put jack stands up so the car wouldn't sit on flat tires. Just looked awful.
Jim, can I ask you to halt just a second?
Sure.
I want to hear what you have to say. Not sure quite where it's going. Our role as a commission would be, we appoint members to the library board. So I'm going to assume that you're providing information to us, but beyond that, we have no jurisdiction over those organizations. So I just want to make sure I understand. And
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's hope that it does lead to something that you... Anyway, so some of these items from the original memo was, it had like 10 things. The next one, just in February, only had 3 items on it. The first item was completed within a month. It improved the library, the museum. The second item was the accountability of the inventory, which there is none. During the last meeting, last month, Mark Spangler said that he was a previous director of the museum, said that he had inventoried the museum. It was all on his hard drive, and when he resigned, it was erased. There was never shared with anyone, nor a copy ever made. There is no accountability whatsoever for the inventory. They say they've started it, they will not share it. I'm not sure why this is being kept secret. We don't know what forms they're using. There's plenty of software available. Not sure of anything, but don't know why they will not share the inventory. The request for inventory was because of if we have speakers, there's items that could help show that speaker, advertise that speaker, increase the library museum attendance. many of our speakers, I think, are sorely underattended. Not necessarily good use of taxpayer funds. So anyway, there's no accountability. We don't know what's been donated. Was it donated or on loan? What exists? We can't even see the inventory, so we don't know. We can see the Historical Society, and it's laying there gathering dust like it's in your barn. I mean, there's no attention to it at all. And supposedly that is being inventoried. It's a higher priority. Anyway, there's no inventory, there's no accountability for the public property. And it seems like the library is saying it's their property and they're in control of it, but it is public property. We all own these items that are in the library. I think that the relationship between the Route 66 Society and the library board is such that, and the library in general, is such that it's strained beyond fixing. I think that there should be possibly a second. I mean, the library board does good with the library. Don't think so good with museum at all. Maybe a separate board over the museum. It wouldn't cost any extra. And it would give the museum the attention that it deserves. There is also no inventory. There's absolutely no insurance on anything in there. Now, governments don't run without inventories, and we don't protect taxpayers' items with no insurance. That's really the gist of what this is requesting, looking into maybe a second board that is solely dedicated to the museum and doesn't have this split interest. You can guarantee that library, they know every book. It is inventory to the max. You inventory your items, whether it's your business or here. An inventory of the museum, it's been over 4 years and there is no inventory, and they won't share what they do have inventory, if anything. Thank you for listening.
You're very welcome. So again, I would just restate that our responsibility is to appoint 5 members to the library board. What I just heard probably somewhat come up before. I know that when the Historical Society disbanded from the old jail and they turned items over, I know in the past I've had citizens ask, hey, my family donated this, you know where it's at? And the standard response has been, it's over at the library with everything else that was donated to the Historical Society that was on display here or held on the premises when they functioned here. Okay, so I appreciate what I heard. It appears to me like there's work to be done between the organizations, and even, I guess, just an observation I would have, the space that you would need to be able to display all of this. And I think we've heard from maybe from the Historical Society before, you know, they'd like to get a museum back and they've had trouble getting a location. So maybe perhaps cooler heads, not that there was anything other than that, but maybe individuals will come together and find a good solution. I think it'd be best for the community if they did. And I appreciate your comments, but again, our jurisdiction is over to appoint 5 board members. So, thank you. Mr. Lyndol, do you have anything this morning? Okay. All right, then I'll jump back into general county business, and you're welcome to stay right now if there's just any general county business or.
I probably need to go get my wife from the dentist.
Okay.
She's probably sitting at the dentist office.
Okay.
All the time.
It was a pleasure to meet you this morning. Thank you.
Good to see you again, Jim.
Nice.
So one of the items I had to follow up on was, I understand CDT applications are going to be mailed shortly. And last year we talked about you know, we were deep into the year and we weren't receiving applications back. Different organization had to be contacted, some multiple times. So would we be interested in putting a response date, if not received by such and such date, your application will not be considered for the current funding year?
Yes.
Okay. Come on in. Good morning, Bridget. Morning, Jack.
Yeah.
Where we getting it?
Mike's office, where that one was, no arms, yeah.
Call Mike.
There he is.
Mike's there, okay.
He was
Yeah,
watching.
he
Fly
saw
on
us,
the
he
wall.
saw us.
Fly on the wall, yeah.
Hey, you guys just come on up right here.
Yeah.
Eric, just, Jack's, we're discussing.
So, yeah, so Jack and Bridget, what we're discussing this morning is the floors in the jail and overall in the sheriff's area, okay? And one of the points that Mike brought out in helping us to make our decision would be the time it takes for dry sanding versus the time it takes for wet sanding, what that might look like as to how Jack, that impacts your management.
So how long does the wet sanding take?
Wet sanding, they're wanting at least 4 days per cell.
Per pod or per cell?
Per pot. You know, yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah,
What about the dry sanding?
And the dry sanding is going to be probably 2 to 3. Now, my concern is the dust that the dry sanding will have effect on the air conditioning. Which we also got to remember that pods E, F, and G all work off of the same.
I mean, they're all connected. They're all connected anyway, but. So can the wet sand, can they work in the evening too?
Yes, they'll work all night.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be here both companies prefer to work in the evening.
I mean, if there's really just like a day's difference, I mean, it could be that big a difference. They're not gonna be happy regardless, because we're gonna have to, I think we start in B, because that's the female seg pod. So I think we only have like one person in there right now. So I think it's easier to pull her downstairs. And we'll do B first, and then we just start shotgunning them into B. But there's not enough room for everybody. So we're just gonna have like a slumber party-esque situation for a couple of days, and they're not gonna be happy because they're gonna be packed in there, but we'll just have to deal with it. So
would there be maybe stair steps when you move somebody into B?
we'll rotate the next
That you
pod
can
over.
bring a bigger one into that
yeah,
one?
so like once we get B done, it'll be open and ready. We'll just start. I guess are we plan on doing all the pods back to back?
Yes.
So then we just start, we might be able to do A next, probably be easier since they're the misdemeanors. And they're open bay anyway, so they're kind of used to it. We do A next and then we just rotate them around. So I sure like it's gonna be a pain, but it needs done.
Maybe with that, then we wouldn't have to outsource any, what you're saying, we can just rotate around.
Yeah.
We're gonna try not to outsource it.
Right.
There honestly, there ain't no outsourcing right now with the game, the FIFA or whatever games coming. Is it FIFA?
Oh, the
Soccer games coming in. Everyone's they've already had like 5 jails calling around, and there's people leaving spots open, prepared to take the overflow of whatever mess that's going to be.
Right.
So there's no shifting around. We're going to have to figure it out on our own. But I think if it's only a few days, it ain't gonna be that big a deal. Like they'll be unhappy, but
Right.
It is what it is.
And I
Hotel
think-
Hilton.
Yeah.
I think from a maintenance standpoint, and even those who work in that environment, the time it was gonna prep to prevent dust and then cleaning up after the dust, I think that's gonna make it easier for those who work in those areas and make it easier for maintenance as well.
And since we're doing it in the evening, we don't have a lot of programs that come in the evenings, so it won't be a big deal to cancel them for like, there's a couple of church groups that come in. And I have to kind of pre-warn everybody that eventually it's gonna happen and you're gonna be kind of banned from the jail for a couple weeks, so.
And then Mike, do we have the assurance that once, if we select this one company, once they start, they'll stay with us until they get it done? And what length of time did you say that might be?
That would be, let's see, how many pods we got, 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 pods, so we're looking at 9 times. We're looking at 2.
Well,
6
8, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this part of, is this counting downstairs too? Or is this just upstairs?
Upstairs, for just
Just,
upstairs.
okay, so yeah, so just,
So,
we're-
8, yeah, what intake would be last that we would go to.
is that just inside the pods, or are you doing around the tower too?
We're talking about still doing around the tower, if we
Okay.
could get all the funding
Well, that's
for it,
fine.
we
That was
would
just-
do everywhere.
so just the
here.
pods.
And then what do you think about the nurse's office?
It needs done,
It's
like,
bad.
all
I
the
mean,
tile
it
needs
is
honestly
bad.
pulled up everywhere.
So
There's just some that's worse than others.
I know.
per our conversation yesterday, it looks like as of this morning, if we go with the company that's recommending the wet sanding, if we go with them, then the match is gonna be 35,000 from the sheriff's office, 35,000 from the commission that we had already allocated. And then the remainder, we have assurance that there's a funding source for it. So your share for your budget would be 35,000. And then we're gonna do it all.
Just get it done.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, like I said, the pods are, you've seen them, the pods was really, like, that's our main point here. 'Cause they're-
We just
Oh,
feel
absolutely.
like while they're here,
Get it.
We have them.
all the work that's been done there the last couple of years, then we shouldn't have to touch that into the building for quite
For a
some
long
time.
time.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna
is
save
a-
us down the
it should-
road.
I think so.
Because costs are not gonna get any cheaper anyway. So it's gonna save us down the road. It's gonna save us from doing things periodically throughout the year, annual stuff as well. Should. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I know the wet's gonna take just a little longer, but
What's
the more
the-
I think about the air conditioning system, this dust,
I
when
hadn't
it
even
gets
thought about
wet.
and that makes an effect on us later.
What's the?
We don't see it
Sure.
immediately.
What's
It's gonna
the
cost us
noise
later.
pollution like for both of them?
What?
Noise pollution, like how loud is it?
About the same,
I'd say.
about the same. It's like running a large shop vac in there, you know.
White noise, Jack.
Yeah.
White
Yeah,
noise.
It's-
Better sleep.
I can only imagine. Sorry for this. Oh, I won't hear it, but I can only imagine.
But the finished product, once it's done, it's done. You know, you won't
Yeah.
have to spend money on flooring
Yeah.
over there, for very, if ever.
Ever, yeah.
So,
What about, so a lot of the walls have kind of like the side skirts, what are they called?
Baseboard,
Ba-
the rubber.
Yeah.
Splash boards.
we,
Splash
we,
guard.
we pull those off and I put them back
Are we
on.
gonna, is there a way to leave them off?
Yeah.
Like
Like in the
'cause they're-
cells?
well, so like even outside in the pods, there's like the cracks along the wall where that splash guard goes. They just rip it off. Like it's.
Just because they can. They pick at
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's
like
just,
I
we're
didn't know if
bored.
there was like a way to fix that while we're doing this, or so we can put them up and they'll last for a while. But
I just. leave them
if
off.
someone decides just to go ripping, it's hard to get to them before they get a good chunk out.
Just leave them off. It's simply on there to cover the edge of the tiles.
Yeah.
You know, and the mop, you know, when they're mopping, they just need to.
Yeah.
When you have them do a deep clean, you need to get them to scrub the sidewalls, you know.
They do pretty okay.
They've done a real good job of cleaning over there lately.
I just think it'd be worth looking. No sense wasting money and stuff that they rip off and pick at. And simple it down as much as we can so they don't mess with it.
Okay,
Okay,
that's what we wanted to hear from you, because we know all the other factors. We can look at that and count the dollars, but we don't know how to count the time, Jack, and what that looks like for your
I mean,
department.
like I
so.
said, I think if it's just like a day's difference, it ain't that big. Now, if they're like 7 days longer or something, I think that'd be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it's just a day,
I think 1 day is maybe a little bit optimistic.
yeah.
It'd be more like a day and a half or two.
Well, that's what like, if it's close, that's fine. But it's going to be something largely farther. I think it's something to look at. But
And that is a per pod.
yeah,
Yeah.
And of course, some of the pods, like they say, are smaller, like big pod,
yeah.
might take just 2.5 days.
Yeah.
But then I think EPOD will be the last one we do, because that'll be the most problematic to move people around.
what about the bunk beds?
The bunk beds, I believe, will have to be removed, one way or the other.
I
Now, the
think so.
tables and stuff,
I
we
think so.
can't remove those, they are fastened in there. We don't take a chance of loosening those connections whatsoever.
So what do
They
you
know
think
they
about
gotta work around the tables. But the bunk beds, it's almost impossible,
I know, you
Skinny
could-
guy
you
like
could-
me would have
you-
to be underneath
yeah.
there doing this, so
Yeah,
they're
so
just,
what do you think of that?
Sand and
anchored into the wall and the floor.
So just your plan is just to take them out then. I mean, it's work on you, so I mean.
Jack's not disagreeable downstairs, I'm just gonna tell you.
I mean, it needs to be done.
It's
It
quite the
does, it
project.
has
There's,
to
I mean, it's just.
That'll complete the project other than just getting partway underneath there with what they can reach
Yeah,
with their
they can-
machine.
yeah.
You know, other than that, if you get it out of there, at least they are gonna get it all the way for the rest of the floor.
And then if you move the beds later, then you'd have these spots.
Bridget,
I can't
don't even.
We're not
Fine.
rearranging
It
furniture.
could
Stop,
happen.
please,
It could
stop.
You know,
We've had that- we've
they do have some new floating,
We've had that.
floating beds that we can buy.
happen. And they're like triple, aren't they?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
road pack
so
people in.
maybe you want to think about it.
Read
Jack and I are always
read the
thinking.
read the DIY
Just
instructions.
That was-
How do you
Oh, yeah.
install those?
Yeah. So truthfully, they're free. Like, so any like new jail you go to pretty much is one of this free hanging, like sloped.
So are they like
They're
tailgate
they're
or
more
are they
suicide
supported?
proof. They're just better. Like the bunks we use, like a lot of people use them, but they're just kind of like the cheap old. We're gonna weld some stuff together, and that's the bunks you get. But yeah, but now they're expensive.
But if you go to that Taj Mahal jail, then you get.
I hope I'm still alive if we ever build a new one. I'm gonna get fired because I'm gonna be so enthusiastic. But no, yeah, I think like pulling them out. I think. Do we need to do anything to the beds while we have? I know it's more work, but everything's just kind of rough in there. Like,
It was kind of thrown together.
while we're having them pulled out, I don't know if there'd be much more work to either sand them down a little or.
How much money does Bridget have?
I mean, if
No,
we're
I
gonna
don't
pull them
know.
out, like truthfully, a lot of them's kind of rusted a little. Like just from where you've seen where they've ripped bolts out of the ground, just freaking out.
Yes, yes,
Like some are rusted and some are in bad shape. We're gonna pull them out. I don't know how much more it would cost. Maybe look at that while we do it. I mean, if we're already
What?
taking 4
That's-
days, what's another day to properly fix these beds so they're not being ripped off the.
So I like having them like sandblasted.
I don't know. I don't know.
Powder coated, or
That's
what do you, I
Right,
mean,
that's
No,
what-
it's-
I could get
I'm
ahold
just-
of somebody
I'm just trying to figure out where we're
that's
going here.
seen it.
Just I think there's just like a cheaper method to kind of just kind of get fixed up a little. Whether it's just, I don't know. That's not my area. But while we have them out, it might be worth looking into.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I walk into Jack's office sometimes and he is just gazing at his computer screen at those triple bunks.
I mean, we don't have to. I just know some are rusted, and if we're gonna have them pulled out, you're gonna go through the process of breaking off the bolts because you're gonna probably have to break some off to get those beds out.
That some of them we might have to.
Yeah, might be worth looking into, see what it'd take to kind of fix some of them up.
So how much are those pods or those
Beds.
beds?
The new ones,
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to quote prices. I've never. I
They
just,
don't list them. all.
it's one of, yeah, it's
That's
a,
gotta
it's
It's
a,
not a good sign.
yeah,
No,
it's
If you,
never.
no.
if you have to ask, you can't
Yeah.
afford it.
The
I'm
better
just
ones
trying
I-
to figure out how much money Bridget had left
I don't
in
have that
her
much.
budget.
I don't have
You know, we
We
just
don't
rip
have-
those out, you have those delivered,
Or
they're
you
on
have one
site.
pod with them in there, which is your more critical, and then you take those bids and you put them where the bad ones are.
So we can kind of fix some up that, so that the process
A
isn't
little
slowed
at a
down.
time, a little at a time.
Jack, if you want to have that conversation with Bridget, we don't
Just go right ahead.
care.
Go right ahead.
I just leave them pulled up, so I know she walks in and sees them. But no, like, I don't know, just something to look, I think to look at, oh, we got them pulled out.
Well, I do got you here, my locks, the locks for all the cells, so they all have locks and they all have the same keys. They should be delivered hopefully this week.
We need to get the garage door fixed too. Well, we have to use a garage door opener instead of the fancy
Instead
new
of,
program we just paid for. I'd like to stop that. Sometimes a little quicker don't work, so you gotta like walk through there and get it.
Oh, so we needed to add that to the control board?
It was.
It
There's just a wire missing, like, I don't know what, some wire's not hooked up right, so it's just not reading. I don't know. You're getting beyond me. The button don't work, Mike.
Yeah.
When I push the little,
typical.
when I push the screen, the door don't open, I don't know.
We will look into that.
Okay, Jack, you have anything else for us? No?
Just, I guess when,
How soon?
yeah, so like once this gets
The
over.
local guys, I believe, will be able to start probably in about 30 days or so.
That's good. That'd be quicker than the.
And the Oklahoma guys, they have 4 big schools in front of them. So we're looking at the end of August, September.
It'd probably be better to get it done quicker, avoid winter time.
So, Mike, last question for me, which last question till the next last question, right? Is there, in just big picture for everybody, so, are there areas that we're not doing? Just restate that again, because I'm presenting this as, but there are still that area from the, coming down from the new 911 to the old desk there, and then that hallway, that part's not being done, that's a
No,
lower
that
traffic area.
hallway and the security pod in between the 2 jail doors, we didn't have that in
Okay.
there.
Once you get to that
Which
side
I
of the
think
wall though,
Either one would do them in there, because the average, I took the overall square footage of just about everything that was in there. So,
Is this including downstairs too?
This was including downstairs with intake in the hallway from the elevator on down to.
Did you have to put inside the cells and intake?
And inside the cells downstairs, and where it's
That's
painted
gonna be,
up on the.
that'll be hard, we'll just have to work around that. That's a hard area to work around.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out. Just I mean, if we don't, it's fine, but I'm just asking so I can start figuring out how to do this.
You can take some home with you.
Mm.
How about that?
No.
okay. All right, I think, Erik, you have anything else? Joe?
Nope, not this.
Okay, I think we have what we need then. Mike, thank you. Bridget, thank you. Jack, thank you.
You bet.
Best wishes.
Thank you, Jack.
All right,
Always a pleasure.
I think it's time to make a decision.
Sounds like we already made one.
You want to make that more formal?
Yep. I'll make a motion to accept Morris Concrete Surfacing LLC, $96,967.
Second motion to accept Morris.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the proposal bid from Morris Concrete Solutions for the amount stated. Do I hear any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. We'll get the bid awarded. And this may not be the original, but do you need anything besides that? Do you want these other two? Okay, so now we'll go back to general county business, and last topic we were talking about was the CDT application deadline. Linda, when did you plan on mailing those out?
They are ready, they can go out anytime.
Okay, so May, if we gave them till August 1st,
July, 2 months.
so they have a board meeting.
August 1. They should be able, all of them should be able to have board meetings in between that.
I would think so, yeah.
That should end your quarters as well. It should be in there if they're doing quarterlies, if they're doing monthlies. So I'd say by August 1 would be a good return date. What's that fall
What's the
on? August 1 is a Saturday, so the 3rd, that Monday?
What's the total? I guess 22. 23.
So we may not have one in there. I
83.
can get one, if I remember. I'll get one.
August 1 falls Saturday, so
Excuse me, just
August 3rd, that Monday.
Well, you could say by the 1st of August.
Well, I don't know, or we could put it to 30 of July, right? I mean, 31st of July? That's a Friday.
I guess I'm good with either one.
It would be done, took care of either way. By our next meeting, by that meeting of that month. Either do it at July 31st or August 3rd.
So I'm
I
gonna,
would like to throw one more thing out for consideration on this. I would feel a whole lot better if I was paying invoices.
okay. Let me rebut that.
Okay.
Okay. That has come up with previous commissions. It's a very legitimate question, deserves discussion. However, what we found was that when we have the opportunity to review the financials and before the applications are approved, we have, I'm going to say 99% of the time we've had the information we've needed to make the right decision to approve or decline, or to ask for more information before we would decline. Okay. Then the time involved that we're going to start to pay this, and there might even be some other threads to this that I can't even think about. So when we did have one political subdivision that we questioned, we did ask them to present invoices to restore that integrity or trust there. Okay.
Okay.
Since then, I don't believe we have any issues. I mean, we see the invoices if it's a rural fire department where they're making a payment, or if it's a special road district, they're helping buy a dump truck or a backhoe or whatever it might be. I'm concerned, Eric, that it would put an additional layer of workload that's unnecessary, because we do see their budget we have to approve or review. We don't approve their budget, but we see their budget, and they have to present what they did purchase and then what they're proposing to purchase. So worst case, I think maybe if I'm listening right, there might be a year there where there might be something that could happen, but if it does happen, they're jeopardizing all future CDT funds.
Okay, there were some, in my opinion, vague financials presented to us last year and not in a timely fashion. Can we make an ask that that doesn't happen?
We did, and at that point then, instead of impossibly, and I'm just having a conversation with you, as opposed to imposing the additional work on us, then if we receive an incomplete application, then by that July 31st or April 3rd deadline, then are we going to give them, okay, you have 10 days to get that information? Okay, or because that then really becomes a secondary issue because we may not get those applications till July 31st. Okay, and now we have an application that's incomplete. So not to slow the process down because we're trying to prevent that, then we just reject them if we want to draw a hard line, or we give them a phone call and you have 10 days or at the next scheduled commission meeting to bring those in. And if not, then your application will be declined, but you would be willing to submit an application for the subsequent year. Would that work for you?
I think it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. That would definitely help.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
So then what we need to do would be another thought, and Linda, I need you to weigh in on this, but looking at the budget, with the special road districts, Village of Phillipsburg, City of Conway, that's $160,000 budget there. The rural fire district's $54,000. And then through economic development, job creation, that's probably about another, we did budget $65,000. But we know that those invoices come in at different times. But what I'm going to recommend or suggest for Linda to consider, for us to consider, and Linda, tell me if it's not a good idea. Since this is August, okay, and then we approve those, and they get their check September, and we usually do 2 checks. I think with this amount, would it be reasonable that we could just go ahead and write 1 check at that time, since the year's 3/4 away done, just write 1 check as opposed to waiting December to write another check? Linda, weigh in on that. I know that's not what we've done in the past, but would $220,000 be available at that time? So we just write 1 check and it's done, as opposed to
Basically writing that check at the start of the 4th quarter.
I'm coming up with 280 off the 3 numbers that you.
As long
Well, 160 and 54, and the other, Eric, on the economic development job creation. Lots of times those invoices come in at different times,
Okay.
so we wouldn't write all those at once. But assuming we had all the other applications in, I'm going to roughly say 210, 215
Yeah.
at that time.
So the process for these funds is they come in each month. And as long as, to your answer, as long as the cash was there early enough to provide for that, then the answer would be yes.
Okay.
But that would be
It would be conditional upon
Conditional
the
that the
funds,
cash is-
the cash flow there at that point in time. If it is, that's going to be my recommendation. I don't think we need to vote on any of that. That's just
Yeah.
a letter that you, or no.
Some
you'll put
discussion
in on the,
Mhm. for that. And I like you said, the 10-day to 7-day deal, because they should already have that to make their financials right anyway. So I think by our next meeting, we're only giving them that one extra week. That way we don't prolong that 2 more weeks
yeah.
if we're trying to shorten this stuff up. So. And yeah, and just stay with kind of like the way we got it, because we don't need to be taking on the role of their treasurer and that stuff
No.
either.
Okay, we're still in general county business. Do you have is there anything else, come up, anything for next week's meeting that, let's see, next week, do we have library board? Is that? Yeah, it's hard to believe, but it's almost Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, that's this weekend. Trust me.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
got a big
I feel it,
weekend.
yeah.
You got a busy weekend ahead of you.
Mhm.
Okay, seeing nothing general county business, John, you have anything for us this morning? And you might state your
Yeah.
name for Linda, please.
John Perperian. So I saw on KY3 last night, they've got 3 meetings going on this week, between Camdenton and here, on data centers. And,
Who's having the meetings?
there's some meetings, and some guy named Bob is gonna be doing the one at the Hive on Thursday night.
I hadn't heard anything of that.
I'm not aware.
I knew Camden was doing something, but I
It
didn't get
wouldn't
details.
surprise me that they're trying to keep this as low key as possible, but, who are the members in this county that get to vote on a data center?
Yeah, John, so thank you for bringing that to our attention. I'm unaware of these meetings, so this sounds like it's an individual that's hosting something to provide some type of information for or against. I'm going to assume against, because that's what here. So what this commission has stated last week is we're going to be as aware as possible of any data center being proposed in Laclede County. What we know from Webster County, I attended that town hall there. What happened there is that the commission was blindsided. They had no idea about the project. So we're being proactive. We've reached out to those entities that might have some foreknowledge to stress to them that the commission wants to be made aware of any proposed data center that might be located here.
And how does this board feel about one coming into the county?
So I think, John, that what we know is there's a lot that we don't know. So we would want to get our questions answered, because we have questions just like you and other people have questions. And my takeaways from what I hear from my peers in Camden County and my peers in Webster County, there's more questions after town halls than they received answers for.
Well, here's been my life experiences. There's a lot they're not telling us about these data centers, okay? Why all of a sudden in the last couple of years, all of a sudden we need all these data centers? For what? There's that much information out there that all of a sudden there's a problem now? What is it they're not telling us until once they're up and we're gonna learn about it that years down the road? Is it gonna cause cancer 20 years down the road? You know, are they being honest about the water consumption and the power consumptions that they're gonna use? Because, as you know, all of our water supply is drawn off of wells. We get a really bad drought, who's gonna suffer?
Yeah, so those are all the questions and more that I heard there at Webster County. And I know Camden County, they voted to put a 1-year moratorium. And I was at a meeting yesterday, and I think they just headed it off at the very front. So they're having a town hall meeting there at the City Camdenton Chambers, and I think I heard yesterday is possibly either one of the aldermen or the mayor just made a motion that we're going to put this off. We're going to have a 1-year moratorium so that we can try and get some of these questions answered. Okay, so we, or some of us, were attending an informational meeting to learn more about data centers on, I think it's June 17th.
And what you're gonna learn is basically what they want you to know.
Oh, there is no doubt about that, but I think, John, it's always good that you try to have as much knowledge as possible,
Both ways.
so that you can understand the subject matter. So I'm going to myself attend because then I know more what I'm being told. So maybe I'm going to have more questions I'm going to ask that I can get maybe some answers for. I totally understand what you're saying. The other thing is, I've inquired, we haven't seen it yet, but I have inquired. There is a ordinance or resolution that is kind of working its way through some of the counties that are third-class counties that could possibly have some language in it that would allow us more oversight than we currently have. So my answer is we're being proactive.
Because I think what you're gonna find are most of the residents are against one.
Oh, it polls, and I read articles again this morning. Again, I try to keep myself informed, and whether it's the Kevin O'Leary 1,000-acre out in Utah or wherever, or whether it's the little unit that they can put in your house, I'm interested in the subject matter. Okay, and the only way I know I can ask better questions is if I have more information. So I'm reading. I attended the town hall meeting in Webster County. It was standing room only.
Yeah, they kind of pulled a fast one on those people there, didn't they? Start breaking ground.
And again, and I think that is something that we are trying to push out, that we don't want to be blindsided. Okay. Can somebody sell a piece of property and we not know about it? Absolutely. You own property in the county. If you sold that out there where you live in my backyard, I wouldn't know about it, right, John?
Right.
Unless I was at the recorder's office every day looking at that, and then I still wouldn't know what purpose it would be for.
Right.
So we are, and I keep saying we, but I'll say me. I'm keenly aware of what is transpiring in the communities around us, and in the rural areas are kind of a target because of the
No permits required.
Correct.
So here's another question. Can it be made where any commercial or industrial facility would need permits?
So, John, I'm going to answer that in a way that I think you'll appreciate, but you may not like. But I think you'll appreciate it. And you and I have had some good conversations in the past. Okay, so you moved here from out of state.
Yep.
Okay, you moved here for a reason.
Yep.
One of those reasons might be so you could enjoy your freedoms and liberties that you didn't have access to where you came from.
For sure.
Okay, so if we can agree on that, then in third-class counties in the state of Missouri, without a vote of the people, then we do not have planning and zoning. I, as a commissioner in many elections past, I had a friend running for one of these offices here, and he was proposing planning and zoning. I said, I can't support you. And the reason I can't support you is you get two of the wrong people here,
Right.
then you're going to end up with something more onerous than you ever wished for.
Yeah.
So I hope we can agree on that as well.
Yeah,
So what we want to do, we want to approach this through like this proposed resolution as an example. And this was brought out at the Webster County, and I heard it again at Camden County yesterday. Has to do with health ordinances that we do have some ability to implement through a resolution or ordinance, okay? So we're gonna look at that. I haven't seen that yet. I heard about it for the first time yesterday. I heard it mentioned in Webster County, but yesterday I heard that it's actually being drafted. So there's some things we're gonna look at so that we can be prepared to try to answer questions. And of course, the first thing is I'm not gonna say nobody in Laclede County, 65 or 75% of people in Laclede County are gonna be against it. So what the best answer would be, we just don't have it here, right? That's probably what people want to hear. I still want to learn more about it, okay? And that's not that I'm pro data center, and it could be mistaken that somebody on the other end of that camera there is going to say, well, Randy's pro data center. But isn't it an expectation that we all want to be informed on any subject matter?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm just very skeptical of the information they're gonna put out there initially.
sure.
And then once it's up, you're gonna start finding out all these other things about it that they didn't care to tell you. And,
Right.
you know, I think we all know some of the shenanigans some of these industries try to pull. And,
Yeah, and I think some of those, like what I heard there in Webster County, was like even the type of chemical, the glycol they use in these lines. So like if it's a closed loop system, people are going to say, well, that doesn't use as much water, right? It's closed loop. But we know that those lines may have to be flushed, right?
Yeah.
So then you just say that at the surface level, but if you're inquisitive, you're going to say, okay, but are there different types of glycol or whatever? And I've got them written down in my office there, because one is and one isn't. And then the other takeaway I had there was, I think maybe to your greater point, John, I'm not sure, is the process. Somebody comes in, they buy property, and they start moving dirt, okay? Mm-hmm. But should they have, before they do that, should they get permitting from DNR, right? Should they get clearance from EPA? Yeah. Should they get clearance from the health department? So all of those could be possibly drafted into whatever we might see that comes across here that might go to your point of, okay, can you say no data centers, but can you say some large commercial project that doesn't have the environmental impact, right? I mean, if
they were building a military base or something like that, I wouldn't be sitting here. It's these data centers, and I just think that we're moving to a period of time where you see where China monitors they've got you on facial recognition everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the stepping stones to doing that. And
so do you trust our government?
No.
Okay. So if you don't, and this is going to get a conversation you and I should have over a cup of coffee, and not for here. So I don't want to take up these gentlemen's time. But if you don't trust our government and you allow all these to be in Europe or China or wherever, do you think our government is not going to have access to that if they want it? All I'm doing is
True.
just theorizing, because I think you and I can have these conversations and enjoy them. But I think for this meeting, I probably
Okay.
need to
Well,
say,
I just wanted to find out if anybody knew about the meeting, if anyone's
No.
gonna be there, because I'm gonna be out of town. And I want to certainly see if I can voice myself on speakerphone or video phone or whatever. And,
and when's the
it's
meeting?
supposed to be Thursday night at the Hive. I think it's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
It was on Q1
Yeah, I
News
did
last
see
night.
on Facebook a week or two ago, there was a candidate for state senate that I thought was having a,
The guy's name is Bob, whoever's gonna be running the, and I didn't get the last name.
I am very skeptical as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. You know, you're sitting there saying about how China, how they're tracking everything and stuff like that. You're carrying two of these.
I
Thank you. I mean-
know.
You gotta, I mean, yeah. Not that I'm pro that either, like Randy,
Yeah,
I'm skeptical. I'm not, yeah. I mean, I ain't afraid to put it out there. I don't want them there. I don't want it out sitting here myself, but
That's what I wanted.
we gotta look at things. We just gotta look into things.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like Angst was talking there, the good and the bad. We gotta, there's no way that you can actually go up against something if you don't know what it is you're going up against.
you know, one of the things that I object to about just public policy in general is the lack of deliberation, or something is proposed and it becomes law, and then we're going to figure out how it's going to work later.
Right.
Yes,
So
there you go.
So that's the skeptic in me.
Well, like when they pass the marijuana stuff, they don't think about every aspect that they need to be covering. They just pass it, and now it's like all up in the air, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, John.
Hey, you guys have a nice weekend.
You too, be
So
safe.
I'm traveling back to New York, and for 2 weeks, and see friends and my family doctor up there. I get my yearly physical because her father was my doctor,
Mm.
and now she's my doctor.
Mm.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I left a message for you to call me. You don't need to now.
Okay, well, I may call you when you get back. We'll go have that cup of coffee.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
And you know, if you got any more information, if you're able to attend that meeting, and I'm not able to somehow get my voice heard or whatever, but you can say, hey, I know there's a guy that wants to speak, and
Okay,
so thank you.
all right.
Safe travels.
Thanks, John. I think St. Charles is voting to ban gated centers. I think that vote's coming up real quick.
Yeah.
I think I read this morning Senator Hawley's proposing, I think, a 1-year moratorium on them as well.
Yeah, I think I'd heard something on that too. So. Yeah, but I hadn't heard about the Hive thing, but I did hear something about, like you said, somebody coming in. It seemed like it's that same time frame.
Yeah, I
I
don't
may be
know if
wrong.
it's the same or not, but Joe, I don't know.
Mhm. And he said others, that was the only one that I caught that he mentioned, wasn't it, the Hive? Then he said there was one somewhere else too. I was gonna
I
ask you.
think he said they were having them in, was it Marshfield, Lebanon, and Camden?
We did mention Camden, and I did hear,
Marshfield?
I
Or
didn't
was
hear
it
him say anything about Marshfield.
Maybe Springfield?
But I have heard something about the one at Camden they was having.
Okay.
Which you attended that, and that may be in the one you talked about
Well,
yesterday.
This was just a regional meeting, not to do with
Oh,
data centers. It
Okay,
was
it just got brought up.
It
under
was just inside conversations, because this is a very current hot button issue that all of us elected officials are dealing with, so, yeah.
Yeah. You bet. So there may be another one coming up there, Camden then.
City of Camden voted, I thought they voted not. Okay, we're back in general county business. All right, public comments, items not listed on the agenda. Seeing none. Then for personnel reasons, I would like to go into a closed session for personnel reasons. And after that, for the media jack, I don't believe there's anything, is there anything else to come before us?
I don't have anything else.
Any road issues? Kentucky, we're hopefully will get done this week. If we can get the concrete guy there when it stops raining. If not, that could drag into next week.
I'm gonna say 2 weeks probably.
2 weeks,
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
if he can get out there and get formed up today, they'll not pour the wing walls.
The flag, Randy Rowe was here yesterday, and I told him, I think Joe said Tuesday, June 9th or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Joe, I didn't write it down, but that was
get
the
with Joe,
Tuesday
yeah.
before Flag Day. We wanted to get it up before Flag Day, and Randy
Right.
was gonna reach out.
Yeah,
So I
correct.
thought
Yeah.
Joe said that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll reach out and confirm it with him.
Okay, so we got that coming up. I think library board appointment, is that those we're all doing June 2nd, is that right? I think maybe, so we might have them on next week's agenda. I'm just trying to think of things coming up. Maintenance issues, none that I'm aware of. Everything seems to, Mike and Lou, they're taking good care of the campus. I don't think I've heard of any breakdowns here in the last week or so. Grounds are looking great. They're really getting this ready for our get our flag put up. Mike's been cleaning the sidewalks, getting in some of the commons areas to get concrete to get those sealed. I think they're just doing a really good job. Ryan is on board in 911. And
Yeah, that's what I just mentioned, Erik. I'd like to go down and visit with him, see how he is so far,
Yeah.
since he's had a
Yeah.
couple weeks here, a week here, yes.
He came by yesterday and everything seems to be going
Good.
going fine. So, all right. So with that, then, Jack, I don't anticipate anything when we come back. You're welcome to stick around. I don't know how long it'll take. I don't think it'll take real long, but I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for personnel reasons.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for personnel reasons.
Would second.
Okay, I have a motion second to go into closed session for personnel reasons. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote.
Erik,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Randy.
Yes, we're now in closed session.